Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Royse City, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Royse City, Texas. On every episode, Dennisha Denny will share Royse City's story through the stories of the people who call Royse City home. This is Heart of Royse City.
Thank you for watching Heart of Royse City. I asked Tiffanys West to come on our show because of her heart of service, not only for the community, but also for her business and for her family. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Tiffany. Hey y'all, I'm Dennisha Denny, your host of Heart of Royse City. Today we are sitting down inside the West Main Venue building out on FM 548. And our guest today is Miss Tiffanys West, one of the owners of 110 Construction. How are you today, Tiffany?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on our show.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Well, Joanna Arnwine, who's an agent in our office, said, hey, we're getting ready to list this building for sale. You need to go meet Tiffany and y'all need to go talk about the building. But she said, you do so much for the community. She said, you would be great to come on the show. So you came highly recommended for Heart of Royse City.
Well, thank you. We appreciate her and the effort that she's putting forth with the building and getting it ready. And they photographed it yesterday. So we're really looking forward to seeing the outcome of everything with it.
It is a beautiful building.
Thank you. So we designed it about 5 years ago. And then we worked with our architect at Latimer Designs. And Leanne took all of my visions and everything that I dreamt and put it on paper.
She is amazing.
She is. She's been great. We've worked with her for years. And then we were very fortunate to have our own construction company. So my husband and our team and myself turned it into reality. Okay. So from the ground up, we were at every part of it and every nail and every design and color choice and everything. It came through exactly like I envisioned.
What made you want to do this?
So my husband retired from the city of Royse City. So Royse City was home to him. Whereas I was born and raised in Garland. I lived in Forney for a little while, but then we came out this way and we knew that Royse City is where we wanted to have our roots. Our kids go to school here, they're involved, and so it just needed to not only be home, but home for our business. So we outgrew where we were. So we've always dabbled in a few different things. My husband owned a daycare in town for a little while, along with working at the city, and I had a passion for gas pumps and porcelain signs and antiques, and so I ran with the idea to have an antique store, which got the building built. Though the construction company took off and our 5-year plan turned into a 2-year and our 10 is turning into a 5, we got into custom homes. And so we just got super busy and I couldn't maintain the antique store and everything. So the building kind of sat empty, which was sad for us. But then we turned it into a venue because so many people loved it. Mm-hmm. And you notice it on
yes.
off FM 35. We're the 2-story building out here that everybody refers to. It's kind of like a landmark. When COVID first happened, we learned that a lot of the restaurants that were delivering used the parking lot as a hotspot to do their transfers for food and deliveries and all that. So it kind of became a known landmark. And so we've ran a venue out of it for a few years and COVID hit again. And so we've had to shut the venue down, which led for the building to go up for sale, which is hard for us,
right.
But we're excited that somebody else can enjoy it, and we think that it offers a lot. So
it really does. There are so many things that would work here, and it's so neat to hear your dream, come to fruition.
Thank you.
Your heart and soul to do that, and then other opportunities do come up, and I know you and I talked off camera of like how your plans have just fast forwarded incredibly. Yes. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about you and your husband started this company together, and it's called 110. Tell us why it's called 110 Construction.
So my husband and I both come out of law enforcement. Like I'd mentioned, he's retired from the city of Royse City. He was a sergeant here. He retired after being with the city here for 13 years, and in previous departments before that. I started out at Garland and finished at Forney before I went into the private sector doing administrative. And then I went into law enforcement software, which I worked with several of the agencies in the area. So 110 is actually a 10 code for the signal of your home. So when we scaled down his construction business from industrial and commercial to just residential, we changed the name and had to kind of rebrand it away from the bigger stuff. And so that's when 110 Roofing and Construction was kind of born. And
So how does that call work?
So-
what's that sound like on the radio?
right. So a lot of the times when you're on the radio, there's 10 codes because so many people have scanners these days that are listening that they use those kind of codes so that you don't know exactly what's going on. So if an officer was to check out at their house for dinner break or a lunch break, they didn't want to really put their address on the radio. So they would check out at their 110.
Okay.
A lot of fire departments will call the stations their 110. So that's where the 110 came from. And then the
Okay.
marketing side of me said, well, I'll beat out all the AAs and the everybody else. So
Right. Oh, yeah,
110
because
worked.
the numbers move above the letters. So.
Right.
Two meetings there.
So there we go.
I love that. I didn't know that. I didn't think about the fact you're going home, but you don't want to say your address of where you're going home to. So that's really cool.
Yes.
I have wondered, where did 110 come from?
We get the
So
question all the time.
That's cool. Well, I want to say thank you so much for your service in the
Thank
law
you.
enforcement. My brother-in-law is also a police officer in Flower Mound. So what you guys go through behind the scenes and through it all is just incredible. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank
Well, we
you to your
appreciate
husband.
it. Thank you, thank you. And most of 110 is made up of law enforcement. So a lot of our project managers are either retired law enforcement or a spouse of an officer or a fireman. So we take pride that, we've kind of kept that niche of law enforcement and public safety under our roof.
That's awesome. Let's talk about, you and I talked off camera about, again, that fast forwarding of the business.
Yes.
So let's talk about when you started and then what caused your business to just accelerate exponentially.
Yes. So when we started this, Tim was still at the police department, but we knew that we needed to scale down his construction business because it kept us traveling. And so at that point, when 110 kind of started, it was just a roofing, window, and small remodel company. And our goal was to kind of keep it at that for about 5 years until he was able to fully retire. I would be leaving my job at the time, and we could really focus on it as our second career because we were still pretty young at the time. And so our 5-year plan turned into a 2-year plan when the Christmas tornadoes hit Garland and Rowlett. So as a roofing company, we had just roofed that Bobtown neighborhood. And so a lot of our clients called us when devastation hit, and they don't know who to call. So they called us, and we were there. Just like we would have been in our law enforcement careers, we took our construction career and did the same thing. We went to the rescue. And that's where you have to really put self behind service. So at that point, you're not worried about contracts or signing and what to do next. We were really focusing on what do we do to get your neighbor safe. Garland is where I was born and raised, so that was home to me. And so we really went in and made sure that we could start securing homes and taking food in and water into the neighborhood and things like that. But then friends of ours in that neighborhood said, well, we want you to build. We're like, well, we're really not building yet. I mean, that's our goal, but we're just not there yet. And so our 5-year plan kind of turned into a 2-year plan. And our 5-year plan was to become a custom home builder and really focus on that at that point because we would be retired and 110% would be going into our construction company. So our 10-year plan is now our 5-year plan, and we are about 80% custom homes only now.
Wow, that's incredible. How did you do that? How did you accelerate it? Did you have to hire more people? Like what allowed you to do that?
Yeah, so the way that we're set up is we have project managers. And like I said, they've all come with us from either previous agencies or agencies that we know or they're friends of ours that have come out of other agencies, and it's kind of their retirement gig. And so we've really just focused on, we want to make sure everybody has that customer service that's a one-on-one basis. So we won't take on any more jobs that we don't have a project manager for. We tell people they have to kind of wait or whatever, but we've been very blessed that it's kind of fallen out to where we haven't really had to turn anybody away. And so we have, at any given time, about 11 project managers that work here.
Wow.
So we were able just to kind of keep going and take it on. And as long as they're willing to take on another job, then that's what we do.
So did you just add them like one at a time as you were working through like the devastation of the tornadoes and helping to rebuild homes like that? I mean, did you have the manpower to do that when you started rebuilding those homes?
God has always had a path for us, and he's just allowed to make it work. Mm-hmm. There's some things that I don't question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's his plan. Mm-hmm. I just follow it. So we've been very fortunate that we've never really had to double up on the load for any one particular person. it's been pretty spread out evenly. And when God provided us with another project manager, and we figure, what are we going to do to make sure that person gets a paycheck to provide for their family, the phone rings and we get another house or two. So we've just been very fortunate that it's always lined up.
I love that so much. And when you dedicate your work to the Lord, it just seems to always work out. He just provides what you need. So I love that.
Thank you.
So where do you go from here? You guys, you've grown, you've fast forwarded your plans. Like, what are your dreams from here?
So we have 2 kids still here in Royse City ISD. We've got an 8th grader and we have a freshman. And so we want to let them finish out their school careers here in Royse City. Royse City is home to us. We're invested in the community. We take on a lot in the community as far as giving back. Like I mentioned earlier, we're very much a service before self-oriented company. You see us highly involved in Royse City Paws. You see us involved in several of the churches. You see us involved in American Legions. You see us involved with the city, with the chamber. A lot of the times people know us as that purple and orange company, because if you see any of my project managers running around, they're wearing orange and purple. And we've kind of been known for that orange and purple company in town.
What does the orange and purple mean?
Nothing. It was his favorite color and my favorite color, and orange and purple have been the company colors ever since.
And you just put it together.
And we put it together, and we just kind of stick out. Everybody sees us in those shirts, and they just know.
They know.
We've always said we're always here to help. Mm-hmm. So people do get flagged down and ask questions and ask to help. And I've got crews out today doing a donation roof. So we've been very fortunate that a member of the community came to us and said, I don't have the funds and my insurance is about to be canceled if I don't replace my roof. So we jumped on some partners of ours and a 501 that runs through here where we were able to get material and labor donated, and he'll have a roof by the end of the day and insurance come tomorrow. So
awesome.
We've just always made sure that service is always there in the front line of our business.
Where do you think that came from for you guys? Because it is very much a core. I can tell just from talking to you, it's a core value that you and your husband possess. Where do you think that came from in your life?
I'm 5th generation law enforcement. His family is all involved in law enforcement. His dad, his uncle. So I think we've always been in that mindset that God put us here to help others. Love thy neighbor. We love everybody. Everybody knows that our doors are always open. So whether it's been to host events through the venue for different charities around town, or if it's somebody needs something for the construction company, if anything ever was needed, the roofs or construction material needs to be donated to different projects, we're always there for that. God has provided for us to be able to provide to others. And so I feel like as long as we continue that path, He'll allow 110 to keep on growing. Mm-hmm. And our goal, I think, in the end of this is to get out of maybe what I call some of the handyman services, replacing a column or putting just a mailbox up or replacing glass in a window, to where we can focus on just custom homes. One of the things that I really enjoy with the building is when we turn these homes over to a customer and they get to see the end result. So they are seeing everything that they dreamt come to reality. Just like I was able to do it with this building,
yes.
I love seeing them able to do it with their home. So every Pinterest pin and magazine clipping that they've ever dreamt up, we've brought it to reality. And so we strive in doing those things to make others happy.
That's so rewarding.
So it is.
It's like what our moms did, though, but they did it with magazines. They
Yes.
would cut the pictures out, but now you get to work from the Pinterest boards. And
Right.
How is that? Do you help work with the customers to sit down and pick those things out and go through their Pinterest
Yes.
boards?
So the way that we kind of work is we have about a 15-page Q&A. So if you come in and you want to build or do a major remodel with us, we'll sit down and we really kind of pick your brain and try to figure out what it is that you want. And we go through all of these ideas and we'll tell you which ones actually kind of make sense or ways that we can even help make more sense sometimes. And we help with floor plans and layouts and everything. And then that's when we kind of start knocking on Leanne's door, and she'll help us design their footprint and their floor plan and their elevations. But then we really start kind of helping with the design aspect. I'm very fortunate that I've got several women that work for us that have a design sense. So we follow a lot of the trends. We go to a lot of the showrooms and things like that, and we try to stay on top of colors and textiles and things so that when our customers come to us, we can kind of help focus them back on what they're truly wanting to make happen in their home. And then I have guys that are great out there making sure that everything is structurally sound. And so as a team, we really give everybody a turnkey product from start to finish.
Wow. I love that. And it's a family business.
It is.
So what's it like to work with your husband every day?
Oh, as much as people say if your marriage and your career can survive it, it's really not that bad for us. We're so much alike that I don't know that I could do anything any different anymore. We're two peas in a pod. As much as he handles everything out in the field and getting in the bobcat and doing the dirt work and the prepping and it's just like clockwork. I know when he's ready for me out in the field, and I know when, he's done with his aspect, and our crew can go in and start designing and picking colors, and it just works. It's turned into a very well-oiled machine. I tend to a lot of the things here in the office, and I've got an amazing staff here that supports me in that. And, we're a family. We travel together. We go on vacations together. We have weekly dinners with different parts of the staff every week. And we make sure we all go to dinner every once in a while so that we can kind of just grasp everything outside of these four walls.
Yes.
So we are really a family unit.
I love your culture.
Thank you.
It's so great. But it starts at the top.
It does.
And it sounds like you and your husband have a great working relationship and
we do.
Great marriage together. And
yes.
Do y'all bring the kids into the business sometimes?
Oh, yes.
I'm sure they have to tag along. And
they do. My daughter loves the design aspect of things. She likes coming in. She likes going and picking out tile with me and carpet samples, and she gets into all of that. And we ask both of them all the time, which one of y'all is going to take the company? So she's probably more apt to do it than my son, but they both do. He has gotten in the Bobcat and driven it around with Tim and knocked things down. What 13-year-old boy doesn't want to knock a house down? So
exactly.
They get in there and they play around, and they see us loading and unloading, and they help with material, and they have fun with it.
That's awesome. Let's talk about you for a minute. We talked a lot about your business and everything, but share some things with us about you. What are your favorite hobbies? What do you like to do for you? How do you unwind from your day in and day out? Because when you own a business and you are as invested into your company as you are, it's really hard to find time for you.
It is.
How do you find balance for you?
That's a good question. I struggle with that every day. And everybody up here will probably tell you the exact same way. I'm work driven. My kids drive me, my faith drives me, and my job drives me. And that's really all there is to me. I don't slow down a bit. The busier I am, the better I am. So it's a struggle for me to kind of unwind. I would have to say probably just my time with my kids and my family. So much of our lives are geared around everything that goes on up here. And then when we had the venue, that was a lot of weekends and nights. So we turn everything we can into a family thing. My daughter is a varsity player for the girls basketball team up here at the high school. So going to sporting events, things like that, that's my time to wind down. So we enjoy, we travel with her with basketball. We sponsor several race cars at the dirt track scenes.
Fun.
We've got several race cars that race through Crandall and Mesquite and up into Oklahoma. So when we do have a weekend off or things slow down during racing season, you'll see a lot of our staff, you'll see us out at these tracks supporting our drivers and everybody that we've got coming up in the race world too. So that's kind of our thing.
How did you get into the race world?
So my husband actually used to drive. So he had a car, and then another one of our sales managers here had a car, and we just kind of sponsored them. And then from there, it led my daughter into go-kart racing, which then she had a friend that raced with her. So we sponsored those cars, and then those cars led to 2 more cars. And then what kind of got us linked with Joanna is my husband and Joanna graduated high school together out in Bland. And so we had some friends out there. We sponsored their cars. So when you sponsor all these cars, you tend to show up and also watch them and support them and, and everything. So that's kind of our downtime. When basketball's not going on and sports aren't going on with my son, or he's not doing his thing, then you'll see us at a racetrack.
How fun.
Yeah.
I love that so much. There's never a dull moment for you.
There's not. We don't stop. So.
That's fine. Well, you've talked a lot about Royse City, and this show is the heart of Royse City.
Yes.
And so I know you're involved in a lot of things, but let's talk about what you love about Royse City.
So The easiest way for me to put it is, like I said, I was born and raised in Garland, and we came here several years ago, and my husband worked here for 13 years. And as much as I would always say that Garland is home to me, when we got here, I felt like I was just picked up and put here and nothing had changed. This instantly turned into home again. Everybody in the community had welcoming open arms, and we were able to get involved again. I've always been involved in the community in which I live in, and Royse City opened us up and gave us opportunity again. So that was very helpful for me. I didn't feel like I was a transplant to Royse City or anything like that. We were able to come and be involved and give back, and we appreciated that. It was a little easier with Tim as he worked for the city.
Right.
But still, it made me feel like I was home still. So we actually bought 6 acres here, and we have my parents right next door to us. So it was so much home that my parents came with us. So we appreciate just everything that the community stands for. We're able to go into town and see people we know and bring up conversation, and we're able to go to the school games, and it's just everybody is so friendly, and we're able to be a part of it. It's heartwarming. So we appreciate everything that Royse City has done for us as a company. Both of the businesses that have been in this building everybody's been so great to accept it and refer it and use it and so forth, that they've always given back to us. So we feel like we need to give back to them.
Share like a favorite project you've worked on. Like, what's something that's like near and dear to your heart that you've served in?
I would have to say that at Christmas time, any of the Battle of the Badges that the police department has done, and then American Legions has also done, is the gift and the food for those less fortunate. And so as a company, we love being able to, towards the end of the year, we'll start donating certain jobs, a percentage off of those jobs to give back to those things. When we had the store and we would do different charity events here, anything that we were able to give back to the community directly has been something grand for us, because we see it, and we've always partaked in delivering the toys, or not just going and buying them and dropping them off, but we've delivered. So we see the kids that it's going to, and we can see their surprise and the love that everybody has for everybody. So we really appreciate just being involved in the giving back part of the community. I don't know that there's one specific instance that just stands out, but we look forward to that time of year as a company every year, because we know that that's something that we're going to do. So we really appreciate being able to give back to the youth. You know, having kids that grow up in this school district and everything, that's where we kind of like to put our niche, is back into the youth of the community. They're what's going to keep this community going, and they're what's next. And if my kids want to stick around and this be home for them, then great. That's where we kind of want to put our pride and our charity and our giving back, is back in that area of the town.
I love that.
So
I feel like we just need to drop the mic with that.
yes.
I love your heart and your spirit for
Thank you.
Royse City. I know why Joanna said you need to talk with Tiffany, and
Yes.
Ashley from the chamber said great things too.
Oh,
And
good.
So that says a lot, and the town's growing so much.
It is.
It's incredible.
Yes.
It used to just be this little town that you pass through, and now it's becoming a destination.
Oh, it is. As a builder, we hear that. A matter of fact, when y'all were coming in today and setting up, I was actually on the phone with a couple out of California that she has told me they have literally traveled from as far west as Midland to as far east as Longview. Imagine all the towns that you
Wow.
have the opportunity
Yes.
to pick from, and they're picking Royse City as their next home.
Wow. Did
So,
they say why? Did they give?
She just said that when she drove through here, she just felt like it was home. So they're excited to find somewhere in this area to be home for them. So that was kind of nice to hear. That's a lot of different places to kind of pick from, and
Yes.
they picked Royse City.
That's a big range.
Yeah.
That says a lot about the community. And so I bet she stopped to kind of get to know people too, because
Oh, yeah.
that makes such a difference when you're exploring different communities and
Yes.
finding out what the people are about, and because it is the people that make or break
Oh, yes.
the community.
It is.
For sure. Well, before we got started, I asked you to pick a number between 1 and 20.
Yes.
And you picked number 11.
11.
Tell me why you picked number 11.
That's my number.
That's your number.
It's my birthday, and I've always, in sports growing up, it's been my number, and it's just my number.
I love it. Well, here's what your random question is. This is how I
Okay.
like to close out the show, asking a random question. What is your favorite restaurant here in Royse City, and why?
Oh, my goodness.
I know it's a hard one because you're like, I don't want to make anyone
I
mad.
know. I will have to tell you, Alejandro's moved in, and we absolutely love it. Friday night home games, it's one of the ones that's opened a little bit later. So after we're done at the basketball games, we head over there, and the girls know what to get, and they always congratulate the girls on their game, and it's just a really friendly environment, and the food's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, we have opportunities to go into Dallas and Rockwall and other places, but I would still pick them for Mexican food.
I know. It's so good. And I love
Yes.
their new space.
Oh, it's great. We love the feel for it.
Yes.
Feels kind of like home.
Yes, it does.
So yeah, we love it.
That's awesome. Tiffany, I really enjoyed sitting down with you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
opening up about your company and about yourself and your family. And thank you so much for everything that you guys do for our community.
Well, we want to thank y'all for coming out, and we really appreciate Joanna and everything that REMAX has done for us too. So thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome.
And welcome to Royse City.
Thank you. Yes, we're so proud to be here.
Good.
Everyone's been so open with their big, wide open arms to us. So we've really enjoyed getting plugged into the community and,
Good.
and giving back too. So I'm looking forward to seeing you at more of the events.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Heart of Royse City. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Royse City, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.